Okay, you guys, so today I'm going to Boquillas Del Carmen. I'm really nervous. It's in Big Bend National Park and you can cross the border and go have lunch in Mexico. So I'm gonna do it, and I think I'm also gonna ride on a burro, and I'm going with my photographer friend Gary. So this is gonna be awesome, and we're gonna document the whole thing and share it with you. Now, I did do some research beforehand, and Boquillas is considered to be a safe place to visit because it's completely isolated. It's just a very small community here, so I am pushing myself to try new things, and this is really how I learn, is hands-on, by meeting the locals and learning their history. If you guys are new to my channel, hello, I'm Lydia Keene, and I'm a traveling artist. I've been touring the country since 2015, camping out part-time in my minivan conversion, so let's get into it. So first, I'd like to introduce you to Gary. Gary and I have been best buds for a long time now. He is a fellow van lifer and an amazing photographer, so we have met up all over the country to take epic photos. So our day started out at 5 a.m., meeting up in El Paso, Texas, and driving to Big Bend. Now, Big Bend is really not en route to anything, so you have to want to go there. I was thrilled to finally get the chance to visit. I'm in Big Bend! Okay, so of course I was super excited, but I was also pretty anxious because, well, I'm going to another country and I have no idea what to expect, but also we're on a bit of a time limit because the border offices are only open certain hours. We're gonna go into that building there and get the instructions. Okay, so we basically just showed the front desk our passports, and then they gave us a briefing on just not to bring anything back that's fruits or vegetables. We can hop on the boat and it's $5 both there and included back. So yes, but we have to be back by 4 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock now. Now, for a long time, people crossed back and forth informally from America to Boquillas, but after 9/11, the crossing closed for over a decade. In 2013, the official port of entry opened. Then during COVID, it closed again, and now it's back open. Dude, what are we doing right now? Are we in Mexico now?
Not until we get to the deepest part of the river.
Probably about here.
Probably. Okay, so that is true. According to the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, the border between USA and Mexico is along the deepest channel of the Rio Grande. Woohoo, we made it! So upon arrival, you have some options. Boquillas is a half-mile walk, so you can walk it, you can ride a horse or a burro, or you can catch a ride. We went with the ride because we were on a time crunch. Okay, now we're getting into a stranger's car and paying him $10 to take us to town. Wow, nice! You speak good English.
Yeah, it's English, yeah. It's no bueno.
No, it's good, it's good.
You speak Spanish?
Poquito, un poquito.
It's good.
Muy poquito. Now you can tell right off the bat that everyone knows everyone. It's a tight-knit community and it's fueled by tourism. It's so beautiful.
Stop.
Oh, we'll stop on the way back. We're gonna wander all the way around here. Next step is we needed to go to the Mexican immigration office to buy a $3 wristband for the day. After that, we asked our driver about good places to eat, and there were only 2 restaurants in Boquillas, so that made it very easy. We went with the town's original restaurant, Jose Falcon's. So our driver walked us over, and he was just shaking hands and hugging his friends along the way, and he wiped down our table for us, and we sat down right near the live music. Driver's like our guide. His name's Daniel, and we get to sit right in front of this awesome musician. Okay, so lunch was delicious, and afterward we walked out on the balcony of the restaurant, which overlooked the wandering Rio Grande. The landscape was dabbled with screaming goats and old equipment, and looking out you just know that this place has a story. So it was time to find out more of the history of Boquillas and what life is like here. We're walking around now. We have our tour guide, Daniel. Daniel took us over to the visitor center first, and he told us that Boquillas was actually an old mining town in the last decade of the 19th century. The mine was called the Puerto Rico Mine, which is located in the cliffs above the village. Now, they mined for silver, lead, zinc, fluorite, and barite, and back then there was actually a cable system that would take the products across the river and off to El Paso, Texas. And tons of residents were employed at this mine or on the tramway, and the population peaked at around 2,000 people. Now, after World War I, the mine was closed, people left, and the population slowly just kept dwindling down. Then, in 1978 and 86, there were several floods caused by the overflow of the Rio, which kind of forced people to move to a higher elevation. So, where Boquillas is now is actually the second town to the original Boquillas. I also learned that there are some interesting attractions nearby if you're staying a bit longer, like visiting the Casa de Piedra or Stone House. You can also plan canoe trips, there's a crystal cave along the footpath in the Boquillas Canyon, and there's also some really sweet sand dunes around this way as well. What is it called?
Cadelilla.
Cadelilla.
Wow.
Wow.
Cooking in a fire.
The economy here thrives off of tourism, cattle raising, and a plant called the Cadelilla. Now this plant is native to Texas, New Mexico, and parts of Mexico, and it's called the waxweed because it has a thin layer of wax around the outside of its reeds. Now this wax is used in a number of products ranging from shampoos to lipsticks and even chewing gum. And during World War II, the demand for Cadelilla increased a bunch because we needed waterproofing for tents and also prevention for airplane parts so they don't deteriorate, so that's pretty interesting. I also read that at Big Bend National Park, there are over 26,000 archaeology sites that have remnants of Cadelilla processing, and some are a century old. You know the population of this place?
Yeah, it's 250 or 300.
250 or 300. Wow, that's a community. So we continued our walk. Some sandy-colored buildings and bright homes, gardens of solar panels, and lots of patient people selling their homemade art. Especially the kiddos. They know business. As we walked on, Daniel told us that life in Boquillas is very simple. They make more money in the summer months during the tourist season, and then the weather is much nicer in the wintertime. They have huge get-togethers, and they go to church regularly. I can't help but imagine myself living the way that they do, with limited electricity and making everything from scratch and being part of such a small world across the border. It does appeal to me, I'm not gonna lie, just with how plugged in I have to be with all of my work and everything. But I love the way they honor their traditions and live simply, and I know that they probably face so many challenges as well, but to have such a great community to lean on is pretty special. For a jail? This is a jail? What?
Yeah. There now no more jail here in Boquillas. No need.
Wow.
That is good here.
So this is the old jail, but apparently everyone here is good now, so they don't need it. After that, Gary wanted to go to the Cantina to try some Sotol. Now I don't drink, but I've heard that it's more of a smoky, grassy tasting drink, and that it is the spirit of Mexico because it's a very important part of Mexico's history and traditions. So I learned that Sotol is not made from the agave plant like tequila or mezcal, but it's actually made from wild harvested Sotol plants. And history-wise, it's often compared to moonshine, because for 50 years, Sotol was even illegal in Mexico. Then, in 1994, the Mexican government legalized it and granted the drink a denomination of origin. Basically, that means that it can only be produced in Mexican states where the plants grow. This can be compared to Scotch whiskey only being made in Scotland, and champagne only being produced in Champagne, France. Otherwise, here it would be called like a sparkling white wine, and so on. Yay! The artist herself. Look at these. So beautiful. Hola! Hola! Hola, hola! I don't, no more. No more. No gracias. Thank you. Okay, we got a full tour of the place. Now we were on our way out with time to spare, so just one step left. Ride the burro. What is this life? So you take care of the burros too? You do everything?
Yeah.
And dang, my burro was a little bit crabby, but she warmed up to me after we got her in the river for some water. So thirsty. Oh, baby. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. And we are back to America, just like that. It's just two officers, and you go up there and they bring you to this like little tablet thing, and they have you scan your passport, and then a lady comes on and she's like, do you have anything to declare? And then you say, just a couple souvenirs, no fresh fruit or vegetables, and then you just walk onto your car and go enjoy Big Bend. This place is so crazy. I was so scared. Good thing we had an awesome tour guide, Daniel. We made it. I am so thrilled that I stepped out of my comfort zone and tried something new and didn't let my fear talk me out of this experience, because it rewarded me with wonderful memories, new knowledge, and a deep love for Mexico. Afterwards, we explored Big Bend National Park and continued on. So thank you guys so much for joining me along this journey. If you found this helpful in any way or entertaining, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, and I will see you next time. This is Lydia Kane here, over and out.